Thank you. I feel immensely privileged to be here to talk to you today. I really do. I talked to Carol and said, what should I talk about? Because over a period of my lifetime, I've had so many experiences and run workshops and done all sorts of things. And I thought Carol suggested the best thing was to talk about my own life journey as a medium and to share as much as I can with you what you will recognise innate qualities that you all have of your own. My first experience was probably when I was only about 3, and I had to have a massive operation and I was supposedly dying. And because I had a huge drain in my back, I was tied down, laying on my tummy with my hands down, hands tied, which they do with a kid who's trying to pull a drain out of your tummy. And it was pretty barbaric 63 years ago, because I'm 66 now. But the hospital was doing what they thought was right. But I remember lying there, I remember weeping, and I remember suddenly seeing the light. And I could hear someone saying, lie still, little one. And I remember crying for Mummy and the nurse saying, your mother's not here. I didn't understand who it was. I know now that I had someone with me. Whether it was a guide, my angel, I believe it was a guardian angel. Just like that. And that was my very first real experience. I remember being labelled a little girl with a wonderful imagination because I used to say, oh, so-and-so hasn't died, I could see him, and not knowing what I was seeing. And I was able to see often just a ball of light, and then it would become who I didn't expect them to be. It was perhaps a funeral or something like that. And I started to understand. I also learned not to say anything very often because people got nervous, they got afraid, they got anxious, or I got labelled a big imagination again. But I knew in my own heart that something had to be happening that was a bit beyond my comprehension. Jumping ahead to my 10 years, I was really conscious of it. And after I married in my early 20s, I remember thinking, come on God, I must be nuts. You know, things are happening so much. That I asked for proof. Because I thought, well, right, if something's really happening, I want some physical proof. Don't ever believe that you can't have physical proof. I really appreciate what Carol said before, that proof is there. I remember, I won't talk about all instances, but one particular stands out. We lived in a home and I had twin sons who were 5, little girl who was 1, little girl who was 3, little girl who was 2. And I used to hear what I thought was footsteps in the ceiling. I'd go into the dining room of this whole house, I could smell like smoke. Now at the time my husband was working for a company and we'd been transferred from Hamilton down to Palmerston North, which is in New Zealand, and it was just so strong to me, and I snuck talking to the neighbour over the fence. She said, oh yes, an old man used to live there, and he used to smoke a pipe. And I thought, I'm not imagining this, I'm really not. Something's happening, it really is. And I said, okay God, I want to see something. One night when my husband and one of his mates were at home, I stood up and I just switched the telly off and I said, can you hear that? And they both went as white as the sheet and said, well yes, oh, it's possums. So I said, get up on the roof and find me. And so, sure enough, they climbed up on the roof, scuttled around up there being silly for a while, but they were very uncomfortable because they could see no marks in the dust. And the chimney, looked down the chimney because that was where I heard the smell of smoke, you know, standing by the chimney. And sure enough, they looked down the chimney and next thing I hear my husband go, oh my God. And they pulled out the settle guns, which I could have in my pocket now and you wouldn't know. It was an antique, it was an American woman's purse gun. But it took a modern day 22. So it was a really dangerous gun. It certainly would be accurate as I'm standing next to you, but it was still really dangerous. Took it out, we ended up taking it to the police who actually sold it to sent it on to a collector and field it and still used to stay there as far as I know. So it was just one experience of physical proof. Over the next 2 or 3 years I asked for numerous things, and every time without fail the phenomenon happened that I was uncertain about, and I asked for physical proof. I received it in big ways and in small ways. So this is why I know for absolute certain that if you're feeling something or sensing something or a little uncertain, ask for physical proof. The most recent experience was in right up to last week. I arrived over here in Australia today, and I said, oh gosh, it's all new people, I don't know anybody. I have this thing that my angels give me a feather when my guardian angel gives me a feather. I had not said a word to Naomi, she knew nothing about it. And I was going out to do the first reading that I was doing over here. And when she walked out the door, I said, oh, I don't know where you're going to find it, give me a feather. And she took a little one for a walk around the block and came back. And little angel Kira ran inside and said, look, Nanny. And she had this tiny little fluffy feather. And I just said, thank you so much. So I know my guardian angel is standing here. Now for each and every one of you, you have a guardian angel. I know it. Perhaps the nice thing about having moved towards use the spirit is I don't believe in spirit anymore. I know there's an afterlife. So many things have happened that it could not possibly be untrue. Some people though, we expect to visualise someone, or we expect to hear a voice clearly in our ear. But there are so many forms of channeling that we miss the subtleties sometimes. We miss perhaps a sense of smell, a sense of touch. We miss just small, subtle miracles that happen around us every day. And those often are as important, and if you feel them and sense them and see them, they're as great as all these big things. So people think that they can't channel or can't be medium because they're not actually seeing or hearing something really major. And yet in your own way, intuitively, you yourself can channel every day. For some of us, it's just simply channeling for our families. For some of us, it's channeling to find our soul path or our soul purpose. For others, it's channeling to give others the benefit of peace and comfort after the loss of a loved one, or to learn about who their guide is and understand their guide and learn to listen to them. Because just like Carol said, I believe we are just a splinter of the light of the great oneness, which is what we call God. So we're all one. We're all part of the same thing. I'm part of you, you're part of me. And each of us in our own way enhances each other. And we have to learn to do that without judgment and just with acceptance. Guardian angels and guides are two separate entities within our lives as we learn to channel. Our guardian angel is with us all the time. And I think we have one guardian angel that works with us all of our lives. Our guides change, I believe. I do have one guide that works with me, or has been with me all the way through. Or perhaps it's because I love him so much, I don't want him to move on. But I know I have other guides that come in at different stages as I'm learning different things, as I have different challenges to face and different things to grow through, different difficulties to deal with. But I remind myself they're part of my soul contract, and I chose to have those. So I have to work my way through each one of them. And it's a real joy. I get somewhat overexcited, a little bit too enthusiastic sometimes, because it just feels so cool when you know that you're connecting and you know that things are going really well. And if I could give everybody a gift, it would be the gift of finding peace within and allowing therefore all your energies to be as pure and clear as possible, which enables that channeling for all of us. I get a great deal of joy out of doing readings, but I always take the attitude they're through me, not to me. So they're not my readings. I'm just fortunate enough to be able to have chosen a path that enables me to be used as a tool in that way. The other thing is too, when you're doing a reading, with some cases you might get a name, and in other cases you get a sense of smell. I'll get a story about something that happened that you know that this person has been with you and taking you back on a memory journey, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to share that with you, inform you, and each of you are able to do that, whether it be in small ways or large ways. I see people who are artists and wonderful singers as channeling. They have a talent that is just so pure and so spiritual, and yet a lot of people don't see them as channels, but I do. So for each of us, there are different ways of growing and sharing and developing what we naturally are. I think I run workshops where we cover exploring past lives, because I believe that we have reincarnated a number of times, and that each of those incarnations is something that we've gone through to learn and experience. Some people take a somewhat dim view of the karmic situation, or you've got to go back and do it again. I don't, in some cases it does take us 3, 4, 5 lifetimes to learn something, whereas another thing we may come down and learn it in one lifetime. But I don't take the attitude, I believe that of failure, because I don't think in spirit there is such a thing as failure. We're all aiming to ascend as much as we possibly can, and the rate of ascension is individual for each of us. There are no certificates for winners and losers. There's no walls of heaven where they pin up winners and say, well, you've got here first, good on you, you're top of the class. It doesn't work like that. It's not about speed, it's about wisdom, and it's about learning as we go through each step. Does anyone have any questions? You're all listening so beautifully, and I really appreciate it, but I just thought there might be some questions that somebody would have. As far as our guardian angels go, our guardian angels and earth angels are actually, above them is the angel hierarchy, which is the archangels. And each of us is also aligned with an archangel, but our guardian angels are aligned with individual archangels as well. I'm assuming that most of you have heard of the archangels, which are above your guardian angels. And they all have, one of the things, I'll just read you out something here that's really interesting. There are obviously, there are 7 main archangels. They work on a cosmic level rather than on the earthly level. But each archangel is connected to a particular element. Your sun sign might indicate which archangel you're aligned to. For example, Michael is fire, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius are aligned to Michael. And your guardian angel will work under Michael. Gabriel is water, which is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and that is where your archangel works. He's the one who your archangel works under. Raphael is air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And Uriel is earth, which is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So although the archangels do not normally work as guardians for us in earth, it is possible to call them for special protection. I guess you've all had experiences anyway where perhaps you're called on your angels and something in the middle of desperation or something like that. And if you think about it really carefully, you'll know that they've come back and acted for you instantly at that time. Probably the 3 main times that your archangels work for you, your guardian angels work for you, is if you cry out from the depths of your soul. You might be despairing, you might be in danger, you might be afraid, something like that. You really are calling out. Your guardian angel will help under the law of compassion or the law of grace. Secondly, if it is not your time to die or to be injured, and you call out for your angel or your will step in and save you. However, they cannot step in if it is part of your soul contract to pass over at that time, and they must let it happen. This is sometimes hard to accept, particularly with children, but they cannot step in when it's like. A perfect example for me when it wasn't my time to die to be injured was one when I was a child. There were actually about 4 other instances. One was when I had cancer and I was really, really ill. But most recent time was I was in a car heading from Hamilton down to Tikawiti early in the morning. Two cars came around the corner towards me. One on the wrong side of the road, obviously heading straight towards me. There was nowhere I could go. I looked off to my left and the bank went down like that. And on the edge of the bank was this, you know, you see the sign, just exactly like you've got a signpost, the 2 big steel poles with the sign along, talking about an area, you know, telling you so many miles to so and so, or so many kilometres. And I remember thinking, God help me, I think I yelled it out. And I don't know what happened, but I shot off down the sign, and the transport department traffic cop was absolutely stunned. I went straight down, and between those 2 poles, so closely, took off both wing mirrors of my car, dented every panel down the sides of my poor little weapon. The impact on the poles knocked the sign came off, hit the roof of my car just behind the driver's seat, and banged it right in. So my car was written off. It was every panel except the bonnet and the little bit at the front where I was sitting were damaged. But the motor was still going and somehow ended up back on the side of the road. And I drove on down to my son's car. I was astonished, and he looked at me and said, "Good Britain, what is that?" Said, "What have you done?" I said, "Well, I don't think I did it, but I'm here to talk about it." And he said, "Oh, gracious, we'll get down to the prop shop and talk about what I'd seen and what had happened." Well, the police came back with me, and he said to me, "What driving school do you run? You know, when you study?" It was out of my hands. I am not expert. I'm a good driver, I think. But I'm not an expert. My car was taken out of my hands and I literally called out. I did. I remember looking at this car and thinking, "God help me!" Just went off the road. That was a miracle. I wasn't meant to die. It's not in my soul contract to die at that point in time. I've had lots of miracles in my life because I've asked, because I believe, because I know that that's there with me, because I'm no luckier than anybody else. It's just that I believe it's there, and I know it's there, and I know my guardian angel will help me. And even when things have been absolutely rotten, when my first husband passed away, it broke my heart. He was such a good dad. When my second husband passed away, I was stunned. And like, whoa, hang on a minute. You know, but each of them talk about added value. We talk about added value products. And I've been so grateful that both of these fine men shared life with me. So, you do hit the bottom and you think you can't get it. The other time that your guardian angel will help is if you ask, but it can. It will help if you ask in a difficult situation, but it cannot help you if you're suffering the consequences of making a foolish decision. No high being will take away your karma or your opportunity for growth. So if you've got yourself in a real pickle, they're not going to get you out of it if you've got into it on an ego-based situation. If you've let your lower self control you, they're not going to jump in there and pull you out of it. They will help you get through it, but they won't. That's a job for your guide, for you to listen to your guides. It's learning them. That's not just protecting. So I suppose effectively your guardian angels are there to protect you and your guide. teach you. That's extremely simplistic. But if each of you can go away today just knowing that you have a guardian angel, and that by keeping your heart as clean and clear as possible, by keeping your aura and your chakras balanced, and allowing yourself to listen silently to your intuitions each day, if you can go away with that, then you've gone away taking amazing steps, and every day in the future is going to be amazing towards your own ascension until finally you pass over and have a great deal of dream. Is that
Actually, we pretty much all love it.
I could keep going. I like to, one of the things I feel that is really, in my studies, obviously I've read, I've gone to workshops, I've hosted studies and stuff over the years, really got into it in a big way, got enthusiastic and had the excitement of lots of cool things happening. But I always remember that one thing I've got to follow is my own soul truth. Now it doesn't matter what I say, I don't mean this derogatory Carol or Carol says, Alan says. As you grow and as you follow your soul path, you're going to hear lots of people talk about lots of things. I run workshops and I always start at the beginning by saying, you take exactly what Carol said, you take from what my experiences are, you take from what I've learned, and you take from my journey what feels right to you. But don't follow me like a shadow, find your own. And you know you'll develop this wonderful spiritual uniqueness that is yours. And that by just simply by default will enhance my life and the life of everyone you touch. So always, and I believe absolutely that this journey is about finding our soul truth. And I love that word truth. It's a really cool one. I just want to read a quote from the Dalai Lama when he was asked which was the best religion. He said, take care of your thoughts because they become words. Take care of your words because they become actions. Take care of your actions because they become habits. Take care of your habits because they form your character. Take care of your character because it will form your destiny, and your destiny will be your life. There is no religion higher than the truth. Thank you so much.